Happy Monday, everybody. It's the REKAP Lunch Hour with Guff. It feels like it's been a while since we've chatted. I know it's only been a couple of days. The weekend still went as is, but it just feels like it's been a while since we've been here on the REKAP Lunch Hour with Guff, me, Ryan McGuffey. Brought to you by our fine partners at Hooters, originalhooters.com. Visit one of 11 Chicagoland locations. And I'll tell you what, being inside at a Hooters sounds a hell of a lot better than being outside right now. It's snowing. It's April, and this is where I get fed up, and I'm sick and tired of talking about weather. It's the national title game on April 7th, and it's snowing sideways here in the great city of Chicago. Speaking of the national title game, what in the hell happened on Saturday? By the way, I know there was a lot of concern and a lot of talk about, it's been an all-chalk Final Four, and we could get into that a little bit, but I will say it was two great games on Saturday night. And the Duke-Houston game in particular, I'm still trying to comprehend exactly what happened, exactly how Duke blew it was the fifth biggest comeback in Final Four history. If you put the microscope on and you look at just the last 90 seconds, I think it's got to be the most shocking, improbable comeback in Final Four history. Duke just, like they really just peed down their leg. You got to give Kelvin Sampson credit because that team stayed engaged from the start. That team was down 14. They were engaged. They had a 98.7% win probability. I'm talking about Duke here. And Houston never let up. The stuff about quitting, how you never really lose if you don't quit at the end, the Kelvin Sampson, the quote in the postgame was phenomenal. He ran laps around John Shire the last 2.5 minutes of that basketball game. The press to get the ball in and out. I don't understand how Duke didn't have an answer. And you know what? Here we go. It's the Houston Cougars and the Florida Gators. One likes to play extremely high pace, which is what they did in the second half against Auburn when they were down, 9 at one point. And Auburn couldn't keep up with them. Auburn could not play that pace, didn't want to play that pace. And now you have Houston who's going to try not to allow it. It should be a great game. I really wanted the Cooper Flagg, Walter Clayton matchup. Two great players, just two great scorers. Cooper Flagg did everything he could to cement his legacy. He missed the big shot there at the end. The foul was complete BS, I thought. But you shouldn't be in that position anyway. Jess, will the Cubs actually play today with the snow? Got a text out about that. The games were great this week, but I was not expecting Duke to blow it the way they did. Yeah, that's something incredible, and it's hard to believe. But here we are, and here, I'm going to send another text out. Let's see. So I'll let you know. I don't know. Here's the thing. It's going to be terrible Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The Texas Rangers do come back to win. Do come back Memorial Day weekend to play the Sox, but there's no real fit there. Lip, defense wins championships. It does. But how Duke crapped down their leg there at the end. But you know what? The defense did win it. I mean, the defense with that press on the inbounds, that was the deciding factor. Happy Monday to you, Kyle. Good series for the Cubs. Taking 2 of 3 was better than I expected. Bad loss yesterday, but let's move on to Texas and do the same thing starting tonight. Let's get to the Cubs here in a second. Al, my guy, Sampson, he didn't outcoach him. He ran laps around him. The last 2.5 minutes. Clyde says when Duke didn't have the heart to finish Houston when they had him on the ropes, they're going home, and that's what happens. Exactly. There's no doubt about it. The real Phil Simms. That's why they call it March Madness. Wouldn't surprise me if Houston won tonight. Absolutely not. It's basically a pick 'em. Auburn didn't get the ball to the 6'10", 240, but Johnny Broom and paid for it. Yeah, that dude is a beast. But I will say Florida did a good job of kind of manning him up in the second half, and they needed more. They couldn't just slow the game down. They couldn't play at that high rate. Let's talk about the Cubs here for a second, okay? Let's talk about the Cubs. They blow the late lead yesterday. They take 2 of 3 from the previously unbeaten San Diego Padres. Cap and I were there on Friday. Obviously, the show done from a local establishment. Having some Wi-Fi issues in the ballpark, so I ran across the street. Here's what I want to talk about. Are we back to worrying about the Cubs bullpen. They ranked 23rd. I'm shocked it's actually that high with a 5.18 ERA. It tells you that's where we are in this part of the season. But the thing that plagued the Cubs last year is sitting here plaguing them again. Porter Hodge, Ryan Presley in the 8th and 9th both give up runs. Godfather says, why is everyone so surprised that the bullpen's losing games again? This is what Rick had signed up for. A full park and under the luxury tax. He's right where he wants to be. And it's hard for me to argue that. Jess, I'm hoping that the Vlad contract is putting a little more pressure on the Ricketts to sign Kyle Tucker. The first inning of the Cubs game Sunday was crazy. With the balks, you had a pitcher getting yanked in the first inning. Mike Schilt doing something unconventional, which I thought was good. And the Cubs get a big first inning response, and then they get up 7-3, and they never can put the Padres away. And it's the bullpen. Uncle Ted, what are we doing here? Clearly Hodge is a closer, and Presley is a setup guy. I mean, I think there's been issues across the board. They're not going to just take the closer situation away from Ryan Presley that quick. Porter Hodge does have that 1.59 ERA. And I think that was his first run he gave. Was it the first or second run? He did give up. Yeah, his first run he gave up yesterday. Meanwhile, Ryan Presley is sitting here. He's got an ERA of 4.5, and you could argue it could be higher. He has been pitching out of traffic every single appearance. He has allowed at least one hit. Every single appearance. And 3 of the 5. I'm sorry, he's been in 3 of his last 5 games. He's allowed a walk. So 6 innings, 9 hits, 6 walks. Inexcusable for a guy that you brought in to be their closer. We'll talk some more basketball here in a second. Uncle Ted, no doubt they have a 24-year-old absolute gas and won't use him in the 9th. I think they're trying to protect him. But you know what? It's about winning games. You can't piss them away like you did yesterday. Eric, my man, Cubs offense starting to come around, but that bullpen's a disaster. They need a 7th, 8th, and 9th. As simple as that. Otherwise, Cubs have been playing well so far. Yeah, you got to like from the offense what you've seen. You score 7 runs, 9 times out of 10, you got to win that game. Jess agrees. Bullpen ends up losing game. I was worried before, still worried now. Bringing up Horton and Wicks and putting in the pen. Look, the question becomes, we'll see panic from the fans before we see it from the organization, but how late do you wait? You know what I mean? It's April 7th. We can't be talking about this for 3 more weeks. We cannot. There has to be a little bit of desperation somewhere. Phil, once again, Mason Miller closes the game out yesterday. By the way, Tommy Penny's better come out of his pocket. If the Blue Jays can, the Cubs better do it. The Blue Jays have been in on the biggest free agents the last 3 off seasons. Their offer to Ohtani it wasn't 700, but it was right there, and I think there was less deferrals. You look at the Vladimir Guerrero contract, 14 years, $500 million, no deferrals. I mean, the Blue Jays have been trying to make that a destination for a long time. And here you go. You got Vladdy Dottie signed up, and I'm with you. I said yesterday when the contract came out, I tweeted, Kyle Tucker's going to get paid. And I put it in capitals because he is going to get maybe not 14 for 5, but I think 10 for 4 sounds about right. Uncle Ted says Presley wasn't even a setup man in Houston. He was a closer for years before they brought in I'm blanking on the Brewers dude. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah. Before they brought in oh God, why am I blanking on that? Before they brought in, help me out, peeps, Josh Hader. Okay? Before they brought in Josh Hader. And he didn't have a great year last year. Thank you, Uncle Ted. Back on taking the other team run line against the Sox, probably going to go 0-6 against the Guardians and Red Sox. I had the run line all weekend against the Tigers, including yesterday. Wish I would have thrown a 9th inning live bet on. The White Sox are looking a little bit like the 24 White Sox all of a sudden. All that goodwill from opening day appears to be gone. Yesterday's loss, kind of inexcusable. They don't have a guy to close out the game. You issue 8 walks. The Cubs also issue 8 walks. Terry says the bullpen doesn't have any pitchers. They walkers. Tough loss yesterday for the Sox. No doubt about it. And it's you can't get into a situation where it's here we go again. You can't. By the way, Phil, your comment about Mason Miller, like, why would the A's aren't trading him right now? And you're going to have to trade the farm in order to get him. Kyle asked if I saw Hakeem Olajuwon wasn't allowed on the floor after Houston beat Duke. Still trying to figure out why they kept a legend off the floor after a huge win. You know, some of these security guards, they don't know. They don't know. Like, there's a generation gap. I don't know. I'm speculating here. I'd have to like read more about it. But I did see tears. He was surprised. I saw Jim Nance had tears. Jim Nance, a Houston grad, when he was hopeful in his last Final Four, which was in Houston, that Houston was a 1 seed and make the Final Four, and they got upset that year. Yeah, Dan, about the White Sox, you have to win that game. Uncle Ted, Schultz and Hagen Smith and Grant Taylor to the bullpen, and the White Sox have instantly the best pin in baseball. But you're not. You want those guys to start. By the way, Hagen Smith, his first start over the weekend, 4 innings, no hits, 10 strikeouts. That'll play. Those guys are coming. And I think, by the way, I have this pulled up. Chase Mydroth. This is another thing. I don't want the White Sox to wait on certain people. Chase Mydroth is now hitting .333 at spring training with a .500 on base, a .750 slug. He has 3 homers in 7 games. He has 8 hits and 24 at-bats. He has scored 11 runs. He's walked 7 times, struck out 4. 2 stolen bases. Let's go. It's time. Jacob Amaya should not be playing in a professional baseball team. Not in this team. It's time to get... Now, Josh Rojas is coming soon. You saw that Jankowski was already DFA'd, which is probably going to happen to somebody else, or Brooks Baldwin gets sent down. And he's been one of the few guys actually offensively playing well for the White Sox. But they don't have a lot of options. I would DFA Jacob Amaya. I'd keep Baldwin up when Rojas is ready to win that game. When Rojas is ready to play. Duke should have won the game on Saturday, but you know what? Losses like this happens. I hope Florida wins the title tonight. Ricketts, you better sign Tucker ASAP since Guerrero got signed. If I were the Cubs, I'd be doing everything I can to lock up Kyle Tucker. Now, I heard Kyle Tucker wants to make sure his wife feels good in Chicago and be here. So, which of course you want that, but I can't imagine that she needs to see a ton more in the next month about how great Wrigley Field is and how great it is to be a Cub. I can't imagine. Uncle Ted, although she looks outside today and sees snow, I don't know. 4-inning limits is dumb AF. Dumb as you know what for the White Sox starters. Let them face lefties only from the bullpen and build confidence. I'm assuming you're talking about like Hagen Smith. He threw a ton of pitches. And by the way, it's the first time Hagen Smith has ever worked on a 5-day rotation. He was 7 days in college. I have zero problem with how they're bringing up Schultz and Hagen Smith. This team sucks at the major league level, you guys. They're not going anywhere. They're not going to force these guys up like they did Garrett Crochet in 2020 when the White Sox were trying to get to a playoff. They're not doing that. Whether you like it or not. I'd rather, like Chase Mydroth, I'd rather have him up ASAP. Cubs need a closer that throws 100 or more, not these mediocre guys. Thomas, I think there's some real, legit conversation there. Because you're looking at, was it Velasquez again for the Padres over the weekend? Every pitch he's thrown, 100, 100, 100. And you're going, man, the Cubs don't have that guy. Suarez. That's what I'm talking about. Suarez just mowing them down at 100, 100, 100 every single pitch. 4 innings. I'd rather have 1 inning of intensity versus minor league games. This is about preserving these guys you want in the rotation. I know we want to win games at the major league level, but bringing these guys up to hold a lead in a major league game for a team that's not going anywhere is a waste to me. It's absolute waste. Brooks Baldwin was the White Sox best player by far. Needs to be leading off against righties, not Vargas. The leadoff hitter for the Chicago White Sox is Chase Mydroth. That's who it is. He's not here yet, but that's who it is. There's no reason to believe otherwise. So it doesn't matter who you play where. Chase Mydroth is the White Sox leadoff hitter. Colson Montgomery, 1 for 20. He's now, just for the record, he's now 3 for 31 with 18 strikeouts. So I'm just being honest. He was 1 for 20. If you think Colson Montgomery's coming up anytime soon, you're wrong. They're not bringing him up with that kind of production. What's up with Robert? Here's what's up with Robert. It's cold weather, and you don't want to hear it, but you're seeing a guy, what is he? He's got an OPS in the 4s. Luis Robert is hitting 161, 250, 194. He has 5 hits, 1 double, no homers. He's 5 for 31. I mean, at least he's playing, but it's not what we're looking. It's not what we're looking for. 88 looks terrible. It's exactly what we didn't want to happen. I said for 3 months, you should be rooting hard for Luis Robert. He's chasing again. Keep rooting for him. Let's hope he gets traded at the deadline. Pablo's birthday's tomorrow? Well, we got to do something for Pablo. I'll definitely get the aviators out for sure. Don't have them today because we lost another game on Friday. That's on my end because my bet of the day was the run line against the White Sox. That game started at noon. I couldn't give it out, so I gave the Cubs over. And unfortunately, that got squandered. I should have known better because Shota dominates at Wrigley Field. I in a Sox game this weekend or early next week. Any recommendation on which to go? Thanks for the show. I don't know, man. I check the weather. It does look like it's going to finally get better this weekend. But, man, it's cold at the park. It was cold at Wrigley on Friday. But I'd say, here, Jess is helping you out. Sunday's supposed to be nice and around 60. So there you go. I believe Crochet's pitching Saturday. So if I were trying to go to a White Sox game this weekend, I'd go Garrett Crochet against the White Sox. Who's looking to go somewhere tonight to watch the games? Anybody? You should probably go to Hooters. It's the best place. For the last tournament game, we're going to see one shining moment tonight. Always a fun deal. Go to one of your 11 Chicagoland locations. Go to originalhooters.com. They have the $6 cocktails all day, every day. What's better than hot chicken wings, cold beer, and the iconic Hooters girls? They've been there all tournament long. Tonight puts a bow on the college basketball season. Go to Hooters. You can also pick it up, have it delivered, Grubhub, whatever. Order.hooters.com. I've done it before. You're in and out. Grab the order, hit the couch, watch the game with great, great food. All right, what else do we have here? Porter Hodge, absolute monster. Angels are doing it with Caden Dana. Phil, Crochet definitely will show out this weekend. Definitely a team-friendly contract. Still, it's 6 for 170. It's pretty juicy. Baldwin, a switch-hitting version of Bo Bichette. Pump the brakes, Uncle Ted. Holy hell. Baldwin's a 200 hit a year guy? I hope so. Yes, Clyde, I corrected myself. It's exactly who I was talking about. Robert stinks. What's up with him? It's cold. He's not engaged, and there's zero protection in the lineup to help him. Outside of Andrew Benintendi, who's hitting 290 with a couple of bombs, he's got an OPS of 817. The next highest regular is Andrew Vaughn at 5-27. You're asking about Brooks Baldwin. Brooks Baldwin has a 709. He's hitting 280. An on-base percentage that sucks because he doesn't walk. But he does have 7 hits and 25 at-bats. So somebody's doing something. Josh says Cubs need the damn relief pitching. This is insane. Another blown game again. At least Chicago teams went 2-2 yesterday. Yeah, because the Bulls got another win as they inch closer to that 8th spot in the play-in tournament. Last week of the NBA season, hard to believe. Cub fans need to relax. Last I checked, they're in first place. They'll be fine. It's only April 7th. Look at Phil pulling a Guff, saying, hey, pump the brakes. They do got to get this bullpen figured out. Let the young Sox grow and work in AAA. No need to rush anyone up to this dumpster file. I'm with you. There's zero reason to bring guys up that aren't ready, or you're throwing them in positions that you're not going to have them for. Like putting those guys in the back end of a bullpen is insane to me. Yeah. I like Uncle Ted's always got he's always thinking optimistically. Does Cat plan on making the Cubs mantra shirt available? Wake up, grab a cup of coffee, and find a way to win a damn baseball game. If so, I'll definitely get one. My favorite Cat phrase. You know what? I will talk to him about that. Phil Sims, I agree. The Cubs in first place. All that matters. Master stream tomorrow. But isn't tomorrow like the Pro-Am, or is that Wednesday? What are we doing for the Master stream? So you got to hit me up offline about that. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Guff. Recap Lunch Hour fam. Hooters girls too thin for scrolls. Hooters scrolls. See, this is what happens when I don't scroll. You know, there's not a specific type. Scrolls, come on, not there. Damn, Hooters sounds good AF right now. I know, that's what I'm saying. Hey, don't be afraid to pick it up on your way home today. Don't be afraid to pick up. My views on Miguel Vargas, they're not great. I was hoping that he was going to come out and actually have a decent year. 161, 297, 226. None of these guys are doing crap. None of them. I mean, Nick Maton in limited is 3 for 20. I mean, you look at hits leaders right now. Benintendi has 9. Baldwin has 7. Corey Lee in limited play has 5. Robert has 5. Lenine Sosa has 5. But that, I mean, come on, folks. We're off and running. We're a couple of weeks in now. Eric says Sports Illustrated just voted Wrigley as the best ballpark. It depends on what you're asking for. Okay. What does best mean? Experience? I think it's in the conversation. I personally don't know if it's the best. My favorite, of course, people are, oh, you're a Sox fan. No. Bear down. They're getting together this week. The mini camps begin. We're starting to talk football now as the NFL draft is just 3 weeks away. Cap has to get a cup of coffee sponsor. I agree. Lane, and anybody, we got people. I can throw a coffee mug right here on the lunch hour. I'd be just fine with that. Hooters certainly would be fine with that too if we threw a coffee cup on there. Love what beat Hooters on the beach for the big game. Clyde, love honey barbecue or barbecue boneless wings and fries at Shirley Temple or Pepsi at Hooters. Hooters getting some play today. Everybody's thinking. Scrolls likes Petco. I do too. Is it the best? It's in the conversation. Petco's fantastic, especially where it's built. I love PNC. They haven't done much to it since it opened, though. I've heard some. It needs some updating, which is crazy. They have a great view of that bridge. Come on, Ashton Jenny getting mad steam. I think Genty's gone, guys. I don't even think he makes it to 10. So all this Genty steam, I don't know. Breck Bear saying Coors Field any day. Saw him that he was at opening day. I said A's by 1,000,000. They did win that game. Extra innings, I believe. Coors is great. You got the Rockies in the background. I was with Breck Bear in the 2007 World Series, if you believe it or not. We were at Game 4 when Jonathan Papelbon locked it down. Gators minus 1.5 is Lip Ripper's pick. So I'm going somewhere. I'm going a little different. I'm giving a two picks. I'm going to count them as 2 picks. I'm either going 2-0, 1-1, or 0-2. I'll count them both. So I also made it a same game parlay. I like the Gators. The Gators are not part of my bet. I do like the Gators in this game. I will question. It'll be fun. I think the more veteran team is probably Houston here. I like the coach versus pupil. Either the oldest coach in history will win a title tonight, or the youngest coach in history will win a title tonight. I'm sure we won't hear anything about that storyline all game long. Genty makes it past the Raiders. Bears have a shot. Doesn't seem likely. I agree. Kyle says pass on Genty. Best lineman available if you don't trade out. I'm with Kyle still. I'm still with Kyle. Wayne, Guff never liked Robert Jr. He's doing the same swinging at garbage. He refuses to adapt. Overrated, way overpaid. I like the talent, Wayne, but I've been calling him out for years. And the reason is because I'm sick of seeing the same BS. He barely plays. He's played 100 games twice. Last year was one of them, which he got to exactly 100, which means he missed 62. He's definitely the best of that trio of Eloy, who I still think's the biggest disappointment in White Sox history. Yoan Moncada, who's right there behind him and saying, hold my beer. And then Luis Robert at least had the 1 year, at least won a Gold Glove, at least won a Silver Slugger. I know Eloy did in 2020, but the fact that he's not even in the big leagues right now tells you everything you need to know about some of those guys. Jess, PNC Park won't get updated until Nutting threatens to leave and Pittsburgh gives him the money to stay. Shaking my head, sell the team, Bob. I knew that was coming from you, Jess. That's why I threw out a flyer about that ballpark, because I knew you would come back and back me up on that. Oracle Park, I've been there. It's fantastic. Absolutely gorgeous. It is it's on my Mount Rushmore best ballparks. And I thought Oriole Park when I first pulled it up, but Oriole Park at Camden Yards, still kick ass. Went there in 92, have been there a couple times since, and they've done a great job keeping it updated. Has that iconic old classic feel too at the same time. Brad says, if the Bulls win the play-in tournament, do they match up better against the Cavs or the Celtics? First of all, I don't think it matters, Brad. Appreciate the comment. I think they probably match up better against the Celtics. I think the Cavs will run them out of the gym. It doesn't really matter. The Bulls aren't beating the Cavs or the Celtics if they were to win the play-in. Luis Robert, very quiet last week. Quiet on the team. I hate that so much. No running back at 10, says Dan. And I also agree, no running back at 10. So I already teased you guys about what I'm going with the bet of the day. All right. So kind of a rough week last week. The stinking baseball season early on and playing those NBA props early in the week gets us back closer to 500. I'm going here's the only reason I wanted Duke, Florida. I wanted to see Clayton flag, but LJ Cryer would like a part of that conversation. I'm playing the Stars. I did this the other night. By the way, the Duke loss, cost me some significant money. Had a same game, everything hit, and then I had Duke money line in the parlay. I had another Duke points. I had Duke money. Not great. I'm taking the Stars in this game. My favorite of these two is Cryer, actually, because of the pace that's going to be needed and the scoring that's going to be needed. But I'm not. Clayton's a dude. That guy is a dude. He is such a Steph Curry-like college player. You're going to keep it at 19.5. I'm playing both of them individually. I'm playing the parlay plus 219. I like both of these, and I think I'm going with the Stars. I am. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be that type of game where the Stars. I'm willing to go down on that. I'm willing to go down if the Stars don't come to play in the national title game. That's where I am. Wayne says, unfortunately, the Sox are the Blackhawks on grass. When's the next live event, Phil? TBD yet. We will get that. The second I know and where, you guys will know for sure. Uncle Ted, you know who would be a monster owner of the White Sox? MJ. Maybe. He owned a basketball team that didn't go so well. Sometimes the best players aren't the best owners. You guys are out here ripping each other for spelling. I stopped putting those on the screen. You guys can talk in the chat. Clyde, I'm not having people call out, spell this wrong, spell that wrong. You guys fight it out there. Have your spelling be. I'm not bringing it back to the show. It was warmer at Wrigley for the Winter Classic, no doubt. I hope Clayton gets that 20 points in the first half, 100%, especially if you're back on the Gators. I'm playing it. For sure. TSI, my guy, go Gators bracket mania finale tonight. His feed on Toronto Sports Insider, you guys, check it out tonight because he's the best in the business. By the way, I'm curious. I guarantee you they're going crazy up there about that $500 million contract in Toronto for your boy, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Happy early birthday, Pablo. Hope you can get a win on your birthday like the Cubs did for me. Phil, congratulations to Billy Donovan on being inducted into the Hall of Fame, no doubt. Becky, welcome to the show. You may have to watch it reverse here. Start at the back end, catch up on the front end because I see that you're late. Are you worried about Ben Brown? I'm worried about his command. He might be a guy you flip to the pen, though. They're going to keep him stretched out for now, but he's got to have better command and better control than he does right now. Do the Bears go offensive or defensive line at 10? I hope either one. Here's where we're living tonight. I'm looking forward to the game. It should be a great one no matter what. 2 number 1 seeds. You got 2 coaches that haven't won. The youngest he'll either be the youngest in history or the oldest in history. I love the storyline. Cryer over 16.5. Clayton over 19.5, which it was the other night as well. And I'm riding both of them at plus 219. Enjoy the game. If you go to Hooters, if you pick up Hooters, give them a hat tip. Say you found out on the Recap Lunch Hour with Guff that this is the place to be. Our fine partners at Hooters. Put a bow on this one. Keep an eye on the weather report. I didn't get an updated text about whether the Cubs are going to try to play. My gut is they absolutely will because of the way the schedule and the weather over the next couple of days pans out. Couple of more here, and then we're going to go. Tell Ricketts that Tucker wants the heat turned back on in the clubhouse, as Doc Holly would say. Let's have a spelling contest. Great reference. Rest in peace to our guy Val Kilmer, who played Doc Holliday in the movie. I'm your Huckleberry. Enjoy the game, Guff. Let's go. Gators. Chomp, chop. Have a great day, everybody. Take care of yourself. Stay warm. God, I was saying that in April. Sometimes, man, you just, I wish we didn't have to say that, but it's going to be nicer soon. And hopefully when it is, we never look back. For everyone here at the Recap, I'm Ryan McGuffey. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you again tomorrow on the Recap Lunch Hour with Guff, brought to you by our fine partner at HootersOriginalHooters.com.